All right, I just split the deck. I happened to see the King of Cups and the High Priestess here. The High Priestess, came out twice in yesterday's reading, just in the weekly energetic update. So to see this here again, this is really good. This is telling me that the collective as a whole is really gaining it. It's like you guys are, and it's, how do I want to say this? You're becoming much more concrete and much more in your frame, in your energetic frame, in terms of your emotions and overall like your emotional intelligence. So interesting. We have, okay. So what we're going to do today, we are going to get some messages from your guides. So as I said in yesterday's reading, I am revamping the channel a little bit. So on Tuesdays, I will be simply getting messages from spirit guides and from ancestors to see what messages want to come out. Today specifically, I'm just going to pull 3 cards to see what messages want to come out, and just to have a little fun today and make it a little bit more interactive, I am going to shuffle out for 3 piles, and then I will let you individually focus in and intuitively choose a pile, okay? And that will be your personalized message. So let's get going. So essentially we're just going to pull 3 cards and just kind of see what wants to come out, okay? Did happen to see the Lovers pop out there, but nothing flew out, so something about perhaps, the Lovers really represents a choice having to be made, and it is coming in as a major arcana, so it's very major energy. There's only 22 major arcana in a tarot deck. And let's just take a look at, we'll take the bottom of the deck as the overall message for the collective. 2 of Pentacles, so I was just talking about with the Lovers, right? A choice, having to make a choice, and the 2 of Pentacles, speaks to that as well, okay? The 2 of Pentacles essentially speaks to decisions. So there's a choice, a decision that needs to be made. With it coming in the reverse, I do definitely feel that there's some type of course, indecision, hesitancy, stalling even. It's like you may be foreseeing like rocky waters, or anticipating that, this isn't going to necessarily be the easiest journey, and perhaps you don't even know where to begin. But that's a little bit of what I'm picking up on with the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. And excuse me, I'm just going to take a quick sip of water here. Additionally, with the 2 of Pentacles, you may feel right now that perhaps you just, you feel a little bit maybe exhausted, or perhaps like you're feeling overwhelmed, about this decision. But really the message would be to take, a step back, really to just analyze and be able to take a step back to just get the quietness, to either just take a step back to be able to just take a breath, or just be able to take a step back to be able to be in solitude and with your own thoughts. And that's really where if you just sit there long enough, give it at just even half an hour to an hour anyway, just start practicing, and naturally, at least for me, I feel like, a 10-minute meditation way too short. Like I look for like even 20 something minutes. Sometimes I want longer ones. Like that's just, it's like eventually you just crave more. So it's like there's a call here to take a step back, because there may be some feeling or energy, you feel like there's chaos in the energy. Now that could be for some of you more so perceived than actually, actual chaos, if you will. Like some of you guys may be making more of a situation in your head than is actually occurring in reality. So as a reminder, with the Two of Pentacles, whatever we are dedicating our energy to is what we are committed to. So just keep that in mind as you evaluate the areas in your life that are no longer in alignment with your current values, with your core values. All right, my friends, so I've laid out 3 piles. First pile, second pile, third pile. I'm going to let each of you tune into your heart space, tap into your intuition, and choose your pile. Alright, we'll take the rubbing as our cue. So let's begin with pile 1. Messages for the collective who resonate with pile 1. We have the Knight of Pentacles, the 8 of Swords, and the 10 of Wands. You guys, you've definitely let go. Okay, so I'm very happy to see this. You've let go of energy. We were just talking about, but you guys have already, let go of energy or people, places, things. You've let go of those things, you've let go of all of that in every area of your life that is essentially no longer serving your highest good. And you're in a situation, guys. I really am picking up on a romantic situation, and this does apply to a lot of the collective, even for, I'm sure, other piles, and of course, all the piles could resonate. Several could resonate, or simply the one that you chose. But with the 8 of Swords in the reverse, what I'm picking up on is that you guys were in a situation where, you definitely felt that your life was no longer yours, or that your life was being encroached upon. You took your freedom back, you took control, and you faced your fears. Okay, and eventually, essentially you surrendered. Like, that's what I was saying with the 10 of Wands. You guys completely let go, and you guys now have a clear perspective, not only in areas of love and relationships, but in your career and finances as well. I feel for most of you, you're either, you've either just started a new position, a new job, or you're going toward that. Okay, but you just had, it's like all these anxieties. That's just really what I'm picking up on, like all these anxieties, and not even your own anxieties. These are other people's anxieties. You just, you completely let go, and now you have freedom from all these anxieties that weren't even your own. They were just placed upon you. And you felt like you were in a continued struggle, whatever situation that you guys were in. But as I said, you conquered your fears, and you're now starting over. The path is clear. So, now's the time for self-love, and again, it was just overall rejection of the restrictions that others imposed upon you. You literally just shut the door. You found your way out of that situation. And then what I love as well, we have the Knight of Pentacles here. So it's like after all that BS, it's like a beautiful offer is coming your way. The Knight of Pentacles, it speaks to patience, okay, guys, commitment. And the energy is here that, you guys stayed committed to yourselves and to your values. And you may feel that along this current journey that you're on here with the Knight of Pentacles, that perhaps things are not occurring in your 3D as quickly as you would expect, right? Or manifesting. But the Knight of Pentacles is really, it's all about being slow and steady, and very stoic in your approaches moving forward, okay? But you're on it. You guys are on a different path here with the Knight of Pentacles. And just to reiterate, slow but steady progress will lead you to success. Your diligent and hard work will be paid off. Okay, so excellent pile. Excellent pile. Pile number 2. Messages from your ancestors and spirit guides. All right, we have the 4 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Wands. Alrighty. I feel like I'm speaking to those in the collective. There's something here where alright, I honed in on these 2 cards first. So, there's something here, I'll start with the 3 of Wands in the reverse. The 3 of Wands, it really speaks to foresight. Looking ahead, okay? Essentially, what are next steps? And so I may be speaking to... I may be speaking to those of you that... You want to be able to, you foresee yourself living an abundant and luxurious life, okay? However luxury looks like to you, and that looks different to everyone. But I feel like there's some type of limitation, okay? There's a lack of progress here. Or obstacles, and those could be self-limitations, but it's leading to, possible delays and frustrations. Okay, but it's like you guys have also set out to embark on your journeys, okay, along with the rest of the collective. But, and what I mean by embarked on personal journeys, even like personal developments, right? Just working on yourself, loving yourself, putting your energy back into yourself. But for those of you that chose this pile, it's like and I think I might have, I did say this earlier in the reading, that it's like you have not yet received the achievements that you've been hoping for. So again, you do feel obstacles, you feel delays, you feel like you're not living the life that you should be living, okay? But, why did we talk earlier about taking some time off or taking a step back? I can't recall. Okay, well, anyway, I think I was saying that. But anyway, the 3 of Wands also is a message that, it's like a message that you may need to take some time out of your schedule, essentially, to plan for your future, especially if you've not started on your long-term goals, or if you've been overwhelmed by just the current day-to-day, or whatever it is that has whatever it is you do. And there's something here with the Four of Pentacles. I don't know if you guys are, I don't want to say like necessarily stingy with money, but you could be very, it's like you have an oversight on where all your money is, like you're not a frugal spender. If you have possessive tendencies or qualities to you, this could resonate with you. But, while this speaks to stability, security, savings, this really just represents our financial mindset. So you're really being asked here, there's something here in terms of reviewing your relationship with money and considering whether you possess a mindset of scarcity or abundance. Okay, or, and in scarcity in terms of not having enough. With that Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, not having enough, but then at the same time, it's like that it continues to make you feel frustrated and just, which kind of just then, you end up like in this, just frustrated cycle, right? So, and, I could be, this could go kind of like two ways. I could either be speaking to those of you that are spending recklessly and essentially kind of living beyond your means. Or I could be speaking to those of you, and I feel like I'm speaking more to this energy with the way the cards are here. But with the Nine of Pentacles coming in here, I do feel that this is speaking to, along with the Four of Pentacles, being guarded right now. And again, this is another message to evaluate your life and what is no longer aligned with your vibration and sense of self-worth. So that's a message, really just across the board, regardless of what pile I feel like we've chosen this far, even though we haven't even touched on the third. But yeah, this is speaking to, with the Nine of Pentacles, that you may have recently gone through a period in which you questioned yourselves and your value. Because again, it's like you're not where you want to be. You're not, like you had a certain idea in mind. You have a certain idea in mind. It's just, you know what I mean? It's you're getting to the point where you're doubting, is it coming? And so perhaps again, you may be too focused on the outcome, on the outcome of when is it coming? When's the money hitting the bank, as Abraham likes to say. So just as a caution, hasty decisions, reckless decisions are possible when the questioner is not only deaf to the prompts of their own soul, but are also, lacking common sense. And I feel like that's more so in terms of, if you're making reckless and hasty decisions financially. But for those of you that aren't, in a way, it's still reckless energy if what you want is the Nine of Pentacles, but you're in that Four of Pentacles energy. Just for those of you that resonate with that, it's really just, again, taking a look at your relationship to money, understanding that money is energy, and just, see what resonates with you. Try to meditate on that. Again, take some time to sit with your thoughts, to sit with yourself, and allow that insight, that wisdom to just, just show up. So pile number 3, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and the King. So we've got 2 queens and a king. Wands, Pentacles, and Swords. right, guys. Sorry for the all the cuts here, but my brother was, going in and out. So, anyway, I was focusing in on the two queens and the king. I'm gonna go with, look, just we'll get into this, but it's like kind of right off the bat. I was like, I'm feeling like perhaps the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords are an energetic match, but there's this Queen of Wands here that's in the reverse, and this can speak to, a selfish and demanding lover. So please only take this if it resonates. There could have been a situation that you left. And this could signify that some of you have been experiencing low confidence and low self-belief. And I feel like right now it's kind of like you've been just, you've pulled back your energy, definitely. You've pulled back your energy both physically and emotionally at this time, and you're just kind of isolating. But there's something here perhaps about, jealousy, a dominating lover, this King of Swords here, and just arguments. But the major message here is to, not try to force your values on others, and essentially by that meaning, understanding that, when if your values don't align, right? Like maybe, it's like, you could, if this does resonate, it's possible that you're a Virgo, or an earth sign, and this person is an air sign. It's a possibility, but it doesn't have to be the case. But your self-worth 100%. Like, you guys, this was a good match. You felt good about it, but at the end of the day, you drew this person in with your generous, caring, nurturing, intuitive energy. You have a good business sense about you. You're practical, you're comforting, welcoming, and you're also sensible and luxurious. The Queen of Pentacles, this is also, again, this speaks to a sensible and practical approach leading to steady progress, just like we touched on. Yeah, we did. We must have seen the Knight of Pentacles, in the first deck. Nonetheless, the Queen of Pentacles symbolizes independence, and that's why I said it's like you're completely. It's just your sense of self-worth, guys, and even if this was hard and challenging, to eventually leave this person, you did it, and it was an uphill journey, but you reached completion, and that completion was essentially the end of the relationship, but. Again, that's with this ultimately leading to your success, okay? So, very truly beautiful, or very, what was I trying to say? Very truly beautiful, anyway, a very interesting pile here. I'm sorry, guys, okay. We are going to then touch finally on the King of Swords. So, again, that's what, I do read cards in the upright and in reverse, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. I could read all the cards upright. Just ultimately, at the end of the day, it depends on what cards come out, a multitude of things. And right now, even though the King of Swords is in the upright, I'm picking up on the more negative, the more negative characteristics of this card. Excuse me. So, I just feel like this person, in some form or fashion, they were dishonest, possibly controlling, but dishonest at the end of the day. They had an agenda. The King of Swords is all about integrity and using your power, wisely, stoically. But in this situation, this person was just selfish, again, possibly abusive, but they have low standards for love. So definitely, don't take the situation personally as you continue to grow. But you are, the Queen of Pentacles is certainly all about tending to your inner garden, and you can see the beauty here in this card. So, but with the King of Swords, it's really all. I just feel like this is representing someone in your life who is misusing their power, and definitely showing off. This person liked to show off. They wanted eyes on them. And they like to be the center of attention. So I feel like I keep seeing repeating messages, because if I didn't already say this, I feel like I said this earlier. Remember, again, I feel like this is another message for whatever, regardless of whatever pile you picked. Just remember that we cannot control others' actions, and that we can only control our own reactions. So awesome, guys. That was fun, and I will see you in the next reading.